Well, hello there. How are you?
Hello.
Good to be back with you. I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician, and this Vision of Loveliness is Neisha Solace-Berry, registered nurse, certified health coach, and certified breastfeeding counselor. And we're here with you, and we're happy about it because this is the next edition of Monday Night Live, baby.
Welcome back. We've had a very busy day today.
Yeah, we've been on the farm working. I've been working with the sheep. Nisha's been getting her new greenhouse up and running. And I'm still in shock that it's 6 p.m.
Time flies when you're having fun, baby.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes before we went live, the 2 chickens I have left roosted on his Dodge truck out here, and I had to go catch them and put them in the coop because...
Yeah, that's a bad sign if they do that. That means they're worried.
They're scared about something.
Yeah. So welcome. Don't forget to remind Uncle Elmer, because he always misses this. Send him a text message or a WhatsApp or an email, or just call him on the phone, old-fashioned style, because you know how Uncle Elmer is. And tell him they're live right now. You wanted to ask a question.
We also have 15 baby chicks that we just got. They're 4 days old today, I think.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well. Bonnie and Beckett are thrilled with these babies. They want to hold them and love them and touch them and squeeze them, but Bonnie wants to love them to death, but we're working on it.
Yeah. We got lots more content coming to you on our farm channel, OB Farms. And so if you don't follow OB Farms and you're interested in chickens and sheep and dogs and cats and kids and husbands and wives and farms and ranches, maybe give us a follow there, because we're going to try to put out a ton more content because it's spring finally.
Yay!
Thank goodness.
The most wonderful time of the year.
I agree. We've got some coaches in the comments. I see Coach Paulette. Hey, Paulette. Good to see you. Coach Marsha's in the comments. They have a blue wrench by their name, so if they answer your question, that's coming from one of our coaches. So you can take that to the bank.
Reminder, we're only on here for an hour. We do our best to answer as many questions as we can. We can't answer them all. The coaches do help. We do our best, but there are currently 1,400 people watching, and it will just keep going up from there. So we can't answer everything, but we do our best.
Absolutely. So if you got a question, type it into the comments, and we will try to answer as many as we possibly can. Keep your question very short while including relevant information so we can answer as many as possible. So now is the time to type your questions in, and we're going to get started answering them.
Everybody's saying howdy to Granny Berry.
Yes. Craig says having your own chickens is pure gold given the price of eggs.
Well, I mean, raising chickens...
Yeah,
it's a break even sometimes lose money type of deal. If you're looking to save money, I don't know that raising chickens in the backyard is like gonna save you money, but it is gonna help you know where your food comes from, which is helpful.
Right. Because having eggs in the hen house is better than having no eggs
at the grocery store.
And we've seen several pictures that people sent in where the egg section is completely empty. And eggs are a superfood. The yolk of an egg is literally, and you're eating an entire chicken when you eat the yolk of an egg. All the liver, the brain, it's nose to tail when you eat an egg. It's wonderful, excellent nutrition, great macros, full of vitamins and minerals, especially if it's a pastured egg. So I don't care if we have to pay $1 a piece for the eggs out of the hen house. It's going to be worth it. 100%
Plus, it's good to know how to do. It's food security, which is worth more than gold. So
100%.
If the ish ever hit the fan, chickens are...
That's where it's
worth
at.
More than
That's
gold.
Right. Because we'll live in the coop and protect them. We'll live with the chickens and protect them to get their eggs. Okay, let's see if I can find this.
Oh, that's a good one right there.
Which is?
The one you were just on.
Oh, where?
Lonnie Lee.
Right. Yes, Lonnie Lee, is it okay to eat non-pasture eggs? Great question, because you hear so many gurus out there being like, oh, if that egg doesn't glow in the dark and it's not dark brown and the yolk is not brilliant orange, don't eat it. It's GMO or something. So what do you think about this question?
A cheap egg is better than any processed crap on the shelf any day, all day. If you go to the Dollar General,
Yep.
which is what we have around here, they used to, last year, they were selling a dozen eggs for $1. That I would rather you buy whatever they're selling, even if it's the cheapest eggs on the market,
100%,
as opposed to some, Cheerios or whatever.
Yeah. Anytime somebody asks the question like this, my answer is compared to what? Yeah. So, the cheapest supermarket eggs compared to our eggs in our hen house, where the bugs ate nothing but bugs and worms, and the chickens ate nothing but bugs and worms and grass. Those eggs are going to be better than the supermarket eggs, right? That doesn't make the supermarket eggs bad. It makes them less good. So now let's say, what about the cheap supermarket eggs compared to a bowl of cornflakes?
100 times better.
100 times better. Not inflammatory, full of vitamins and minerals.
You can actually absorb the nutrients inside of those eggs.
Yes.
So Carrie says, my eggs from the Dollar General now $6 a dozen, which is crazy. They used to be $1. But they're always stocked. So if you're not going to the Dollar General marketplace, check those out. They have eggs there too. And if you can support if you don't want to raise chickens, find a friend who wants to and be like, hey, I'll buy 6 chickens for you to brood if, I can have some of the eggs. Make a deal.
Absolutely. That's great. And we do the same thing with lamb. There are people around here who they don't have a pasture, but they're like, man, I really want a lamb shoulder or lamb chops or a rack of lamb ribs. Let's make a deal. And so we make deals like that all the time. But if you don't have that available, you can't make that deal. You just have to hope the supermarket doesn't run out. Linda says, hey, Granny Berry from San Bernardino, California. Granny Berry's watching right now. Please tell her hello and where you're watching from. She's 94 years old.
Queen of quilts.
Queen of quilting and full of vinegar. Let me just tell you, she is spicy, even though she doesn't like to eat spice. She's salty and spicy. All right, let's see what we got here. There's Coach Alyssa in the comments.
Announcement. If you are in the PhD community,
yes,
Alyssa's back.
Yes.
Coach Alyssa is back. Coach Alyssa is our lead coach, and she has stepped into that role. But then she had a sweet little baby girl, and so she's been off for 3 months, spending time with that sweet girl, and now she's back in the group, and we're so excited to have her back. If you want to learn more about the community, it's drberry.com/community. Come hang out with us. It's a good time.
This is Eileen. Keto carnivore off and on for years, currently on. I don't trust doctors anymore. Tell me in the comments, how many of you guys feel this way? We were having a conversation on Twitter today about this, and several of the doctors that I interact with put up a poll. Do you trust doctors in America anymore? It was like 98% no, 2% yes. Tell me in the comments, do you trust doctors in general? Do you trust your doctor? Because I hear this a lot. How would you find a good, reliable doctor? I live in the deep South where sugar's a way of life. Yes, it is. Yes, if sweet tea doesn't stand up on its own with the sugar crystals, it's not real Southern sweet tea. So Neisha and I have both kind of come to the opinion that you don't really need a doctor that you trust for most things. Because first and foremost, you're not going to be taking your doctor's advice about diet. If they ask what kind of diet you're on, you're going to say, well, I eat a whole food, a real unprocessed, low sugar diet, because that is a perfect description of keto, ketovore, and carnivore, isn't it? You don't have to say keto or carnivore because a lot of doctors are going to lose their beep if you say that. So don't say that. 90 out of 100 doctors don't care about your diet or ask about it anyway. All you need for them to do is order the testing that you need done and maybe refill a prescription if you're still on one. So with that being said, there is a website, the Society for Metabolic Health Practitioners, SMHP. I don't know if it's .com or .org. I can't remember. But they have a list of low-carb, keto, ketovore, carnivore, line diet friendly doctors on their website, the Society for Metabolic Health Practitioners. And so you can find them there.
I have to say, and I say this every time this gets brought up, is that I don't blame the doctors because it's really not their fault that they've been put in the position that they're in because of insurance and Medicare and Medicaid and the business that has become healthcare as opposed to healthcare being to promote health and keep people healthy. The people at the top are not doctors.
Never.
They've
It's
never
literally-
spent a day in the hospital taking care of a patient in their life. They have no idea what it takes to be a nurse. They have no idea what it takes to be a CNA.
Yes.
Hell, they seriously don't know what it takes to clean the rooms and take the trash out. All the people that are meaningful in the healthcare system, it is not their fault that the higher ups are running hospitals and clinics like a business instead of running it like how it should be and used to be.
100%. In many cases, it's actually illegal for a doctor to hold an administrative position, like the administrator of a hospital. In many states, it's illegal for a medical doctor to be the administrator of a hospital. You'd be like,
no,
wait,
this
what?
is so true.
What?
Every administrator I've ever worked under as a nurse, LPN, RN, CNA,
Not a doctor.
have no idea what is going on in those rooms.
But yet they're happy to browbeat the doctors and beat them down. And I talk to many doctors online and in person, and I can tell you guys the degree of burnout, the degree of doctors who are just dejected and defeated because they've literally got from 7 to 10 minutes to see a patient. And you're supposed to do everything you're supposed to do in 7 to 10 minutes, especially if you work for a huge clinic or a big hospital system. You're just a paid employee or an hourly employee now. That kills the dream. And so the average doctor is just treading water.
Also, to be fair on this as well, though, it's not their fault, but it is their problem. And it is their responsibility
100%.
as a physician, as a provider, as a nurse, as an LPN, as a CNA, to wake up and be like, this is messed up. And either try to fix it or find another way. Like, a lot of nurses are becoming health coaches because they actually want to help people and they're not able to in the hospital setting.
I love how you said that. It's not their fault, but it is their problem. And it's also their job to figure it out.
But they're so tired. And look, I know, we both know we worked, he worked 24 hours as an ER doctor for years. I worked 12-hour shifts, midnights, days, evenings. I was a CNA, I was an LPN, I was an RN.
Yep.
I know you're exhausted. It's almost impossible to be like, is this good? Are we doing the right thing? Is there something else we could do? Because you're just doing what you can to get through the shift.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
like we get it.
Craig, I ended up having to go from carnivore to keto. I missed some of my low carb veg like greens and tomatoes. And listen, Craig, I don't do, and everybody watching this, we're not about carnivore police or keto Nazis. We're not about any of that. The proper human diet spectrum, ranging all the way from low carb with real whole food, all the way to the lion diets and everywhere in between, is part of a proper human diet. So I actually like it when people like Craig try carnivore 3-6 months and they'll be like, yeah, but I miss bell peppers, whatever. And they go back Ketovore or keto or even low carb. I love that because you can slide on the spectrum until you find the spot that makes you the happiest and you the healthiest.
The best way to do this is to do 90 days of carnivore and then do a reintroduction phase, but you have to be very aware of what that means and diligent with your documentation and collecting of data when it comes to signs and symptoms. The best book out there that I would recommend if you're willing to put in the work and you're a self-starter is the book by Judy Cho. It's called Carnivore Elimination Protocol. I'm pretty sure is the name of it. You can buy that on Amazon.
Judy Cho, CHO.
It walks you through the entire process, and she gives you so much in-depth detail. It is so helpful. It is such an amazing book. If you're ready to put in the work and figure out what your proper human diet is, because we're each able to do a little. Some people cannot eat tomatoes. Some people cannot eat onions. Some people cannot eat dairy. To be able to figure out where you fit, that's very important. But you can't just take a little test and it tell you. You have to put in the work.
You cannot take the food sensitivity test. You cannot do your DNA, and that's not going to tell you what diet you're going to benefit most from. Those are very profitable myths, not profitable for you, but profitable for the people who sell them. You got to do some experimentation to figure out where you fall on the proper human diet spectrum.
So Judy Cho, she has 2 books. Both of them are amazing. So if you're willing to buy both of them, go ahead and do that.
I would highly recommend it. Yeah. Here's a question from Joey. I'm a huge fan of eating liver. I generally have 6 to 8 ounces per week. My question is, would it be more beneficial to have an ounce or 2 a day, or to have 8 ounces or so at a time during the week? So for those of you who don't know, liver is the most nutrient-dense food on planet Earth. There is nothing that's more nutrient dense. Definitely not blueberries, kale, or Aussie berries. No, liver. So this is a great question, actually, because if you love liver and you're like, I'm going to eat 6 or 8 ounces of liver today, but then I've heard I could get vitamin A toxicity or something. Maybe I shouldn't eat any more till next week. I think it's actually better to eat a smaller amount, to eat 2 or 3 ounces 2 or 3 days a week, because when you're eating something that's nutrient dense, it's very hard for your gastrointestinal system to absorb all that nutrition from an 8-ounce hunk of liver all at the same time. You're going to wind up pooping some of it out. And so I would actually eat 2 to 3 ounces 2 to 3 times a week. For those of you who are afraid of liver, Neisha and I are about to do a liver recipe on her channel. If you just go to Neisha on YouTube, you'll find her. She's the most popular Neisha on planet Earth. She should pop up number 1.
He keeps I'm gonna have to do all the work for this video, so whether or not it happens, we'll see.
It's not true. I'm going to do some of the work, I promise. So that'd be my answer to that. Thank you, Perlita. Thank you, John. Here's Lillian. My health conscious sister is a moderator and always thin, but has Hashimoto's thyroiditis and adrenal issues. How do I encourage her to try low carb, high fat? She fears fat, but she loves bread. This is super common among thin people. I can tell you some of the most severe diabetics I've ever met in my life were very thin, type 1 and type 2. Just because you're thin does not mean you're metabolically healthy. That is absolute fact. And so I would highly encourage your sister to get her A1C checked, but also to get her fasting insulin checked, because very, very often people are not type 2 diabetic, have a normal A1C, but their fasting insulin is sky high. This is very common in very thin people. That's just as dangerous as being a type 2 diabetic. And so she needs a full lab panel, like I talk about in the Common Sense Labs book. And she needs to know, really, the most important is A1C and fasting insulin. That's going to give us a bunch of information.
She says she has Hashimoto's.
Yeah. And so with Hashimoto's, if she's still thin, that's good. I'm glad. But if you have one autoimmune condition, you're actually at increased risk of having a second or even a third. Even more reason to be checking the labs routinely to make sure something's not sneaking up.
Has she been to anybody who knows what they're talking about when it comes to Hashimoto's? Because like the number one thing anyone will tell you with any autoimmune disease is to do an elimination diet and cut out gluten, which is the number one ingredient in bread. So it sounds like she just doesn't want to know how to fix it.
Maybe.
Because she's still thin and she's not hurting bad enough.
Yeah.
Some people need to hit a really bad pain point to make any changes.
You know, being thin in America has become such a rare thing that it's actually just considered, if you're thin, you're by definition healthy. And that's absolutely can be untrue. Neisha's exactly right about the gluten. Also, any grain, wheat, rice, oats, corn, contain a gluten-like molecule that can cause inflammation in the thyroid gland and make Hashimoto's even worse.
When she gets sick enough, she'll be ready to listen, but it seems like she may not be ready
and
to
listen. I hope it didn't come to that, but sometimes it does.
A lot of times it does.
It does. Caleb, my breastfeeding wife, her supply decreased on carnivore, and we happen to have a Ketovore. We happen to have a certified breastfeeding consultant.
Caleb, it depends on how quickly she went from eating whatever she was eating to Ketovore. If she was eating somewhere like 100 grams of carbs per day down to 10 grams, which is Ketovore, that's fluid shift. It's probably temporary, but if she wants to just go back up to like 50 grams of carbs per day and then drop it more slowly, making sure you have plenty of salt, plenty of electrolytes, and plenty baby to breast, because that's the thing that makes more milk. It's supply and demand. Tell her for a few days to get up around 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. to do an extra either pumping session or feeding session. That'll increase supply too. It's most likely just the fluid shift. And as long as she keeps going and hydrates and gets those electrolytes up, tell her to bump those carbs up just back up to 50. She can go all the way back up to 100 and then drop them slowly. It's just because when you drop your carbs so fast, you're going to lose a lot of water weight. And if you're breastfeeding, milk is made from water. So you're losing all that water.
Yep. Great advice. If you haven't already done so, hit the thumbs up or the heart. And please consider sharing this video on your favorite social media, because that's how so many people have found the good news of a proper human diet is you guys sharing these videos. And then they're like, oh, I had that question. Oh, let me see what's going on here. Oh, he's got 1,200 other videos. Oh, she's got hundreds of videos. And then they're down the rabbit hole to better health. So please consider sharing this video. Now, let's see. Here is Genero. Is eating spicy peppers bad for humans? For most humans, probably not. Now, some people absolutely love spicy peppers. Some people hate them. I don't like them. Neisha doesn't like them.
How many spicy peppers are you eating though?
Right.
You know?
Right. I don't think anybody's eating 8 ounces of super spicy peppers a day. So, but there are people who are quite sensitive to peppers and other foods in the pepper family, and it can cause inflammation. But I think 60, 70, 80% of people can have an occasional small little piece of pepper and it not be a huge deal at all. But there are some people who should avoid them altogether. You just have to experiment and see. Drew, have you looked at reevaluation of the traditional diet heart hypothesis on PubMed? There's a recent study on this. I think maybe what you're talking about, Drew. Yes, I have. I actually have a copy of the study and I'm working on a YouTube video about it. What many people need to hear, I think all 4,000 people watching this right now, you need to hear this. The diet heart hypothesis, meaning that eating saturated fat will cause heart disease. Eating cholesterol will cause heart disease. At best, this was only ever a hypothesis, meaning a smart guy said, you know, I wonder if eating saturated fat and cholesterol, I wonder if that causes heart disease. Let's study that. That made it a hypothesis. But all of the subsequent research has done a terrible job of proving that it's actually true. And that's why there's so much room for low-carb keto, ketovore, carnivore eating, and so much health benefit, because I think that the diet heart hypothesis is false. I don't think it's true. And I think they're going to see in subsequent years that it turns out that it's just not true at all. Great question. Semi-retired Bob, just dropping in to say thanks again for saving my life. Among all the other things, lost 150 pounds, many drugs gone and conditions cured. Cardiologist scanned my graphs 7 years in and all are perfect. Semi-retired Bob. He's got a good YouTube channel. If you like off the grid, retired stuff with a little carnivore flavoring, with a little bacon flavor, you should check his YouTube channel out. Speaking of great YouTube channels, here's Chris Cook in Nashville. Stories of keto carnivore helping with therapy for bulimia. Have a new friend I want to encourage correctly. Thank you both for being awesome. So we have heard multiple case reports for people suffering from anorexia, bulimia, binging, and other eating disorders, and great results, because I have theories about, especially anorexia, that the mainstream medicine doesn't hold. And I've discussed this at length with our good friend, Michelle Hearn, who's a registered dietitian who used to suffer from anorexia.
She also has a book called The Dietitian's Dilemma.
Yes.
That talks a lot about this. So, Chris, I would look into getting 100%. That book.
But her and other dietitians who recommend keto or carnivore have seen definite improvement in people with anorexia, bulimia, and other eating disorders. I highly recommend you check out Michelle Hearn. Absolutely. Kathleen, sliding hiatal hernia. I'm trying to avoid the surgery, and they totally disagree with carnivore. Well, first of all, who cares what they say about carnivore? We know that humans have been eating mostly meat for hundreds of thousands of years. This is not some new fad diet that Sean Baker discovered or made up. This is something that humans have been doing since before recorded history, long before recorded history. So it's safe to eat meat and eggs and seafood. That's not even debatable. Anybody who seriously tries to say that eating red meat, fatty red meat, eggs with the yolk and seafood, that's bad for you, they're just ignorant. You need to ignore them. Okay. So with that being said, you eat the diet that improves your health the most, both physical health and mental health. And then you let the doctor and the surgeon worry about how they're going to fix the sliding hiatal hernia. Now, some hiatal hernias, once you're on carnivore for a while, I've got a hiatal hernia. Mine's not sliding, but I've had one for over 10 years. I have zero symptoms from it when I'm strict carnivore. And that's one of the main reasons I stay strict carnivore. So after 90 days of carnivore, if you're still having severe symptoms, reflux, all the things, then you may want to consider the surgery. But I would definitely get at least 1 second opinion before I lay down on the surgeon's table. Oh, there's Holly Kreisel. Hey, Holly, old friend. Whitetail Obsession Outdoors. That sounds like a good YouTube channel.
I bet Poppy would love his channel.
I bet Pedro Salas watches him. Been keto for 5 years now. Just had a CT calcium score today, and it was 0.
Hey.
The tech told me 0 doesn't mean anything, and the test is pointless.
Oh,
What are your thoughts?
Okay, well, first of all, the tech
So
is not educated on the test and should not be giving you any type of information about the test.
And Neisha's correct. And I can tell you with authority she is correct. How can I tell you that? Because I used to be a radiologic tech, okay, back in the day before I went to med school. And if we were instructed specifically to never say shit like this.
It's 100%
inappropriate, okay? Because the tech doesn't know beef from bullshit. All they know how to do is push the buttons. I used to be a tech, so all you RTs out there, I'm not being mean to you. I used to be one. I knew how to push the buttons. I did not know how to interpret the study. The American Heart Association says that the coronary artery calcium score, it's on their recommended list of tests, and it's actually in their algorithm. So the tech doesn't know what he or she was talking about. Yeah. So it's very important if you're worried about your heart health to get a CAC score.
So our thoughts are, don't listen to the tech.
Don't listen to the
They
tech.
are there to run the test and only run the test, and that is it.
Exactly.
They are very important parts of the system, but that is not their job.
Absolutely. Connor, would carnivore help with quitting a daily marijuana habit? Would daily marijuana use reduce carnivore diet benefits for autoimmune hair loss issues? So yeah, you gotta quit the weed, my friend. Connor, it's time to put down the toke. Okay. We have had
daily.
Yeah. So, and you know, we were told for a few years, marijuana's not bad. It's not addictive. It's okay. But there's a lot of people like Connor who are like, you know, I feel like this is maybe not the best thing for my mental and physical health to smoke weed every day. So we've had lots of feedback from people who were trying to quit nicotine or alcohol or marijuana, other addictive substances, that when they're high-fat keto or high-fat carnivore, it's not easy to quit, but it makes it much less hard. Have you been getting that feedback on your end?
I mean, the people I know that smoke pot are not carnivores and don't want to be.
They're not interested. Yeah, they're just interested in watching.
But I would think it's definitely not going to hurt anything to
100%,
start carnivore, because what's the worst thing that can happen? You get healthy and then you quit. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Let's wean down to stop the pot. Let's do that. Absolutely. Marty Mack. I trust no doctor I've met here in Canada. See, I hear this a lot from Canadians. Hoping to find one with at least a critical thinking ability. I feel like that the physicians in Canada are so imprisoned in the algorithm and in the system that it's hard for them to be free thinkers. I know it's possible because my good friend Dr. Jason Fung is a Canadian kidney specialist. And
he live there still?
I think so. Okay. And you know, he's able to write books and have an actual correct opinion. So I think other doctors could do it too, but it must be a little harder in that system. So keep looking, Marty Mack. Sandra, husband 59 years old, high blood pressure for 4.25 years. Dirty Ketovore for 3 years, CAC 99, total cholesterol 303, HDL 61, triglycerides 72. So HDL and triglycerides are great. LDL's high. Doc wants him on a statin, works out, no smoking, 6 foot, 200 pounds. So the research showing that a statin is going to meaningfully decrease his risk of a heart attack is lacking. Watch my YouTube video called How Not to Have a Heart Attack. And in the show notes of the study, the video, I actually post a link to the study that you can show to your doctor. So yeah, there are probably more important things for him to be focusing on than a statin. G. Lander, you want to read this one?
Oh, what? Would you consider making packets of research info we can purchase by topic to take with us to have a combo with our providers? Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret that some of y'all don't want to hear, but I'm going to tell you anyways. if you are willing to use ChatGPT and you ask it to help you say, I want to get my doctor to order XYZ, or I want them to check these labs. What can I say to make sure that I eloquently present my case so that they are more likely to order these without argument? It will help you build a case. And you can even say, can you give me some research, cite your sources? I want these type of studies. And then you can print it off and take it with you.
Yeah.
I know a lot of
It'll
you are
find
like
all that for
anti-AI, and I get it.
Tell me in the comments, how many of you guys love ChatGPT or Grok or one of the artificial intelligences? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you afraid of it? If you're scared, just say you're scared. It's okay. But tell me in the comments. I want to know. Are you scared? Tell me if you're scared. Just say it.
But use it to help you in these type of scenarios, because it will think of things and it can present you without you having to do a ton of research. Just simple questions and say, help me make a plan. Write me a list of bullet points that I can take into the office. I want to print this out. Like, give it as many prompts as you can until it gives you something that is usable. And then go in there armed.
And it'll actually give you links to the research.
Studies. You can print those off too. Like you have the world. Like, okay, last year we had the world at our disposal. This year we have an expert in everything. And I know that's kind of terrifying, but why not use it to your advantage?
If you haven't used Grok or ChatGPT or what's the other one, Claude, it's literally like having a friend who's 14 years old but has a PhD in literally every subject on planet Earth. Literally everything. Now, he's 14, so sometimes he's going to say something a little silly, but he's so intelligent. Why not ask him questions? He's happy to answer you, and he's happy to print you out lists and give you links to research. It's a greatly underused tool, and I don't care. We know people in their 80s who use ChatGPT, just like Neisha said, in our private community, because she's gotten them over that fear.
I mean, don't do it if you don't want to do it, obviously. But if you are desperate enough, you will do what you got to do to arm yourself or just find a better doctor, right? Okay. Yes. But you can also ask it that. Can you find me healthcare providers in my area that are pro low carb, at least, like
you'd be shocked.
It's coming, even if you don't want it to, it's going to come.
It's better to learn to use it. Absolutely. Kyle, strict carnivore for 7.5 months. Everything is great except low HDL. It has always been low. So you're one of those genetic guys who it stays around in the low 30s. Yep. I have not stopped Vasepa. Should I stop it? Probably. The way you're going to get your HDL up now that you're eating carnivore, because I know you're eating lots of fatty red meat. That's step one. Step two now, Kyle, is to start lifting heavy things. That may mean joining the gym for you. That may be getting a home workout set in the garage. Not cardio, not jogging, lifting heavy things. This has been shown repeatedly to help raise your HDL and also lower triglycerides even more. John, do you have any hesitation suggesting keto or carnivore to someone with a high CAC score? Thinking specifically about higher LDL values, thank you. No, I do not have one tiny bit of hesitation, because I know that a proper human diet is the diet that every human on planet Earth should be eating. I don't care if your LDL is high or low, you're still a human being. I don't care if your HDL is high or low. I don't care if your total cholesterol. I don't care about your particles. I don't care about your ApoB or your Lp(a). You're still a human being, and you need to eat the food that humans have eaten for over 1 million years. It's just that simple. To say otherwise is folly. Good question. John Garza. John Garza, that's a lot of labs. Doc wants to start me on Crestor. Okay, you don't need Crestor. There. I fixed it for you. There are much more important things. Your A1C is at 15%, and your doctor's worried about a statin. That's all I need to read is your A1C is 15. Son, you need to go carnivore now, this instant. Okay, as soon as this video is over, go to your kitchen, throw away everything that has carbohydrates in your kitchen, in the fridge, in the pantry, underneath your bed. I don't know where you hide your carbs, but no, you're going to die with an A1C at 15, okay? You got to focus 100% on eating 0 carb, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. I've got videos that'll help you on my channel. That's all you need to be worrying about is reversing your severe uncontrolled type 2 diabetes. That's all you need to focus on, because that is by far the most dangerous thing that you have. The high LDL is like a BB gun pointed at your shoulder. Your A1C of 15 is like a 12-gauge shotgun pointed at your face. That's how dangerous that is. And your doctor's worried about a statin. What the hell? I don't even know. Let me apologize for all doctors out there. I mean, just that one comment alone should be enough for all you guys to share this video and hit the thumbs up if you haven't already done so.
Joe says, ChatGPT says Dr. Berry has non-mainstream views.
That is true. 100%. I agree. See, right again. Listen to ChatGPT.
Look, verify. It can be wrong. It literally says that when you type stuff in.
I said it's a
ChatGPT can be
15-year-old with a PhD and everything. So every now and then he's going to act like a teenager, but he's literally the smartest person you know. He's got a PhD in every subject on planet Earth. Why would you not ask that person a question?
It is a tool, not a crutch.
Yes. Cigar mode, perennial question. You know you want to stop. You want to do statins.
You know they want to do statins. Are they needed?
No.
I have perfect labs except for cholesterol.
Right. So triglycerides 53, which is beautiful. HDL 106. Where's your A1C and fasting insulin? If they're also normal and your HSCRP is also normal, you've got no need for a statin. You're exactly right. Cigar mode. Also, just smoke the cigars for looks. Don't inhale. They're bad for you. Sean, are pork rinds okay for carnivore? 100% yes. You can actually find them that are cooked in animal fat because for whatever reason, some of them want to use soybean oil or canola. So make sure they're cooked in beef tallow or pork lard, and they're 100% fine.
Not all of them. A lot of them have dextrose and sugar added. If you're getting a fancy, no, not of course.
Yeah, read the ingredients if there's an ingredient.
Yeah, so like it depends on the pork rinds. It depends on how strict carnivore you're going to be because like.
But if it's just pork rinds, salt, and it's cooked in pork fat, 100% fine. 100%. But you got to read the ingredients on any packaged food. Sandra, part 2. I didn't see part 1, Sandra. 59-year-old husband, can large amounts of espresso or sugar-free energy drinks cause inflammation to raise his, it can actually raise triglycerides in some people quite a bit. His dad had heart disease, lifestyle induced with 14 stents. Is it hereditary? Maybe 5% of it's hereditary, but 95% of it's lifestyle. No smoking, no alcohol, no tobacco at all. Cut the carbs at least under 50 total grams of carbs a day and get his ass out of the recliner and out in the yard doing chores or some kind of physical activity. Those are the things that are going to protect him from a heart attack.
Is there a good book on epigenetics? Like a readable book?
Not a readable book. No, there's some good ones, but not.
Who's a good person to listen to? Do you have a video about epigenetics?
I don't, because it's so complicated. Like it's literally, it's hard to talk about.
Never mind.
But I'll look into that because that would be a good topic to try to make understandable. Yeah. I'll see what I can do about that. That's a good idea. Okay, here's Kathleen. Thank you, Kathleen. Well, Kathleen, there we go. Mike B, is it healthy to drink green tea on a daily basis in the morning instead of coffee, or will the oxalates be too damaging long term? So some people are very sensitive to oxalates. Some people are not that sensitive to oxalates. For most people, I don't think oxalates are a big deal. For some people, they're a very big deal. So if you don't seem to have any inflammation, you're doing great, you're moving towards your health improvement goals, and you're drinking your green tea, I think it's totally fine. Keep in mind, coffee also has many, many polyphenols in it. So that's how I get my polyphenols, is I drink coffee every morning. And I don't think it's bad for me, but it may be inflammatory for some people. Carrie Blackwood, I hate liver, but love liverwurst. Is it okay to substitute? Read the ingredients. Find the low sugar version. You can use liverwurst, liver loaf, liver cheese, any kind of liver pate, liver mousse, but you've got to watch the ingredients. Also keep in mind, as my beautiful wife knows, it's pretty easy to make most of these liver things at home. It's not that difficult. You can do it yourself, and then you know what the ingredients are. And then, like a boss, you've actually prepared some food to eat at home. It's amazing. Orange Grove, I'm male. My hemoglobin is slightly above normal, a point or two. Numerous tests came back negative. Bone marrow issues. What could cause this? It's literally a list of 200 things. If they checked your bone marrow, then like they did a bone marrow biopsy, then you've been pretty darn well evaluated. Sometimes you can have a hemoglobin like this, and it's not really a sign of anything bad. But I'm glad they went down the algorithm and did all the testing on you. But if they haven't found anything, then this is nothing to worry about.
Okay, John, you read his question wrong, so I'm going to pick.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I was 15, my A1C, but now it's down to 6.5, and I went down from 293 pounds to 267 pounds. Started carnivore on the 27th of January. He saw my LDL go up, and now he wants me on Crestor.
No, even though your A1C has come down from 15 to 6.5, your A1C of 6.5 is 10 times more dangerous than high LDL. I need you to get that down lower. Okay. You've got to cut the carbs more. 90 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs will do it for you, my friend. But still, even now, your A1C of 6.5 is way more dangerous than a high LDL. Good question. Chinwee wants to know how frequently you guys eat veggies on carnivore and how much do you eat? So carnivore means that you just eat meat and eggs. That's what that means. So I hardly ever touch a vegetable on carnivore because I'm true carnivore. Neisha is not a carnivore. She is ketovore. So you want to...
I don't even call it ketovore anymore because I hate labels. What I did was I used carnivore as a tool, as an elimination diet. Then I reintroduced the foods that I wanted back, and I tested, I documented my signs and symptoms and how bad they got, if they got bad or if they didn't get bad at all, if my body liked that food back. If I didn't like it, I didn't reintroduce it. I wasn't bringing broccoli back in. I don't like broccoli. But I love onions. Onions, I brought them back. I can eat them. I don't have any problems with them. They are now in my diet along with my meat and eggs, poultry, and seafood. I brought back avocado. No issues, although I try not to buy them because they just go ruined and it's a waste of time and money. Tomatoes also, some peppers, lots of herbs and spices that are clean. I use Redmond's spices. I use fresh spices. This year I'm doing herbs and spices in my garden that I'll be doing myself. I'm making my own paprika. The key is it doesn't matter what we're eating. It matters what you can sustain, what your health goals are, what you're trying to heal. So it doesn't matter what anybody on the internet is eating. If you use carnivore as an elimination diet and you do the reintroduction phase appropriately, then you're going to be able to find out if you can bring back in some vegetables, sauces, seasonings, and that sort of thing. So you can build your own proper human diet.
And Neisha helps people with this all the time in our private community. So this is kind of one of her expertise areas where she helps with elimination diets. But from the way you worded the question, I just want to be very clear again to say that a carnivore diet does not include any vegetables. It does not include any fruits. It does not include honey or maple syrup. None of those things are carnivore. Okay. So just so we're very clear about that. All right. Jennifer, type 1 diabetic here. Can't get in ketosis due to not having to take a lot of insulin. Is my low-carb, high-fat diet, high insulin intake safe without ketosis? So how low-carb are you? I'm almost certain that if you get low-carb enough, as AKA carnivore, you're going to be able to use less insulin. Most people, when they go on carnivore, they can use 80%, 70% less insulin than they used to use. And that's going to allow you to get into at least some level of ketosis. And if your ketones are reading 0.5 or higher, huzzah, that's what you want. Okay. So I'm afraid your low carb is not low carb enough. Yeah, that's the answer for that.
Somebody asked about Redmond's because I mentioned it. If you ever want to find things that Dr. Berry approves of, it's a very short list. It's not very much. It's things like ancestral supplements for those of you who want the benefits of organ meat but don't want to eat them. They make really good high quality organ supplements, and we have a discount code linked in the description. Redmond's also linked in the description, discount code. And you can also go to drberry.com/marketplace and find all of these things listed out over there, along with books that he recommends and any discount codes that we have. So before you buy anything, go to drberry.com/marketplace, get yourself a discount code.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yeah,
Anything
absolutely.
else?
No, I love it. That's perfect. You both are such a blessing. Been following you for years and a PhD member. That's our private community. There's a link in the show notes if you want to be cool like our Stroop. Can you tell me what you may know about alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency? So this is a genetic defect that can affect lung function and liver function. It gets very complicated very quickly. We can talk about this in the private group if you've got more questions. Our Stroop, because it will quickly bore everybody who doesn't have alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. Thank you, Carnivore Journals. That looks like a YouTube channel maybe to check out. Roger Reed, Ketovore Carnivore for 18 months, lost 60 pounds. Hey, y'all, you know anybody need to lose 60 pounds? Ketovore Carnivore right here. Recent labs, LDL 208, HDL 66, trig 70. Then there's the ratio glucose 91, A1C 5.5, down from 7.7, fructosamine 226, excellent. Am I still insulin resistant? Do I see a fasting insulin?
I don't see one. Well,
Oh, fasting
it?
insulin 6.3. No, you are no longer hyperinsulinemic. You are metabolically healthy, Roger. Congratulations. Now all you have to do is just keep eating the diet that got you these numbers for a long damn time. Live long and prosper. Absolutely well done.
This?
That's it. Yeah. Gennaro, can carnivore cure alleviate autism to a degree? So the animal fat in the diet. There's a movie called The Magic Pill that looks at an autistic child and a very high fat carnivore diet. I mean keto diet. A high fat carnivore is going to do the same thing. Okay, there's nothing magic about the vegetables in a keto diet. It's the high fat and the very low carbohydrate that helps children with autism improve their symptoms. I didn't say cure. No, I don't think you can cure autism after it's developed, but I think you can markedly decrease the severity of the symptoms. And if you decrease the severity of the symptoms enough, it feels like a cure, doesn't it? Hey, Jan, thank you very much. I mean, John, sorry.
One of our coaches, Becca, she shares a lot about that in our group.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have several people in our private community who have autistic children, niece, nephew, grandchildren on the spectrum. Neisha's accused me of being on the spectrum. I don't know if that's true or not.
He could only be so lucky. I think the most coolest people are on the spectrum.
Same. It's Glory. Love your videos, Dr. Berry. Any tips on optimizing, maxing testosterone, speeding up recovery for the gym? Yes, eat lots of fatty red meat.
Bone broth, homemade.
Drink your bone broth, homemade. Lift heavy things. Go out in the morning sun barefoot. Get good sleep. Literally, that's it. That's all. And then repeat. Don't overtrain. Lift heavy when you lift, then take enough time off to recover. For most people, that's 2 days for that body part before you stress it again. Don't overtrain. It's very common to do that.
We got somebody from Uruguay.
Oh, what did they say?
Hello. I said hi.
Oh, hi, Uruguay.
Carnivore greetings.
Powerful you. Thank you very much. Here's old Rooster Tails. Is there any research on carnivore and meningioma? No, not yet. Hopefully there'll be a study coming in the next year or two. John Garza. Oh, we got you, John Garza. Okay. Yeah. A1C of 6.5 is not normal. Maybe your doctor told you that's normal. That is not normal. You want it to be under 5.7.
I think he knows that. He was mostly concerned that he was being told to put on, put on a statin.
No, you need to fix that, not worry about a statin. Geredable Productions. Hey, sending love from Texas. I've been watching y'all's content for years. What would you recommend for someone with POTS and compulsive syncope? So we actually have several people in our private community who have POTS and who use either keto, ketovore, or carnivore as part of their management strategy. But they've learned lots of stuff and they've got lots of tips and tricks. And so you'd be a great person to join the private community. There's a link in the show notes if you want to check it out. But first and foremost, you have to be eating a proper human diet or your body's not going to be able to do what it would be capable of doing otherwise. That's step one. And then a proper human life after that. Good question.
For those asking, Dr. Berry does not take patients currently. We spend most of our time helping people in our community. That's not medical advice. It's not a doctor-patient relationship. It's we have health coaches, and then we do much smaller Q&As like this one, but instead of 6,000 people watching, it's more like 300 people watching.
Mhm.
So if you want to
Yep.
come ask Dr. Berry questions in a much smaller setting, it's way more intimate. We talk about more in-depth things. If you're in the pro group, there's a Zoom call weekly that you can talk to him for a few minutes and ask some questions and kind of go back
Yep.
and forth a little bit. Again, not medical advice, but we do have doctors that come in and speak in the group and do Q&As as well that you
Yep.
can do telehealth visits with, and they're amazing as well.
We have doctors, we have dietitians come in
Nurse
as special guests. Nurse practitioners come in the group all the time who do remote visits. Now, I'm a licensed physician and I'm board certified. I just got my new certificate.
We got to get a frame.
So, yeah, now I have to buy a frame. But I just don't see patients individually right now. But I can tell you, I've been practicing medicine for 23 years now. I can help people in that private group session where it's sometimes a Zoom meeting, sometimes a Zoom webinar. I guarantee you, if you poll the people inside of our private community and said, do you get more benefit from going to a doctor visit or from being part of this community and having access to 4 additional live Q&As with Dr. Berry
a week?
Not just to ask your questions, but to listen to everybody else's questions and go, oh, so if that's true for them, then okay, got it. I guarantee you 90% of them would say, I get way more out of being part of this group than I do going to my doctor, because I not only get Dr. Berry and Nurse Neisha and all the coaches and then all the special guest doctors and dietitians who come in here and answer questions all the time. I also have access to thousands of other people just like me who used to have what I've got and have now reversed it, or it's so much improved they don't even notice it anymore. I really think this is the new model of people. Now, if you break your arm, you need to see a doctor in person. If you fall off the roof, get hit by a bus, get stabbed in the guts, you need to have doctors in person. But for chronic medical conditions you take prescriptions for, I think going to the doctor for that's a dying thing. I think, and especially when AI really comes to the front, I think that's going to be over. You should check it out. I think you'll be very surprised at the benefit that you can get from that. Gary says, is Repatha bad? I would not prescribe Repatha or Praluent to my worst, most hated enemy. Okay, that's how bad I think Repatha and Praluent are. I think statins are bad, but Repatha and Praluent are statins squared. Do not recommend at all.
If you can't join the live, you can watch the replays too. And we have months and months and months of content
100%.
in our vault that you can just go back and binge watch.
Yep.
And I always learn when I hear other people ask questions.
100%.
Or you back in the day when I was still watching these type of things. And it's because you don't know some of these questions you wouldn't even know to ask until someone else asks them. And
Right.
you're like, I didn't even know that was a thing I should be looking for. And it just opens your mind, and then you can really start thinking critically.
Exactly. E.H. Wood says, what about the sheets and bedding for grounding? I think is what E.H. meant. I think they're okay, but E.H., outside of your house or apartment or trailer or backseat of your car, wherever you live, literally the ground is right there. And whether it's the heat of summer or the dead of winter, you can just put your feet out there on the ground, and the earth will donate electrons to you, and you can have the benefits of grounding. Now, we've experimented with the bed mat for grounding. Neisha kind of felt like it helped her. I couldn't tell it helped me at all.
I don't know that helps me now, but I don't know. Is it even plugged in?
I think so.
Did you lift the head of our bed up again?
I did, yeah.
I was in the middle of the bed when I woke up. Tell them what you did again.
Listen, everybody, I used to recommend, especially if any of you guys have heartburn, reflux, GERD, raise the head of your bed 2 to 4 inches. You can do this with 2 red bricks, but I actually bought some things off Amazon that you can put under the head post of your bed. You don't want to sleep on pillows like this. 2 extra pillows are not the same. You want the entire head of the bed elevated. I've been doing more research on this, okay, and I've found that absolutely it's great for heartburn, reflux, GERD, but it also decreases snoring. It also leads to more restful, better quality sleep. I've been looking into the anthropology and archaeology of this. It used to be every doctor, Hippocrates, Galen, everybody for hundreds of years have been saying you need to sleep with the head of your bed elevated. Okay, not like this, like this.
Okay, but
And
tell
so
me what you did.
I snuck in there and I raised the head of our bed up 3 inches. When did you
I meant
notice?
to ask you this morning because when I woke up, my pillow was here and I was here.
Had you slid down?
Yes. And I was like, he lifted the bed again.
I slept so good last night. It's the first
I
night
don't
it's been
know how that
elevated.
happens. What about me?
I don't know.
What
You're just
down
you're
into
slippery.
the
I
bed?
guess. You're a slippery little sucker.
It's so weird. I was not even on the pillow. I was like all the way down.
Yeah,
and I knew
that's-
immediately because years ago, 10 years
We
ago,
were
probably.
dating. Yeah, more than
He
that.
did the same thing. And I'm 5 days into this. I was like, why do I keep waking up and I'm in in the bottom of the bed? And he was like, oh, I lifted the head of the bed. Maybe that's what it is. And I was like,
Kevin says he does not trust doctors. Yeah, Kevin, you and a lot of other people. This is becoming a real problem, though, because in one survey I saw on Twitter, like 98% of the people are like, I do not trust doctors. And I get it. I understand why. All the COVID crap, all the statin crap, all the crap. But at the same time, doctors are going to have to step up and do something about this. This is not okay that 98% of people in some surveys do not trust a doctor. That's no bueno. The doctors used to be one of the most trusted professions out there. They were up there with nurses. Now, nurses are still number one.
Still up there.
100%. Yeah. But doctors, you guys got to step up. You got to stop the bullshit. You got to stop just repeating what you heard on CNN or MSNBC. You got to quit just blindly following the algorithm. You got to figure it out. Doctors, it's not your fault, but it is absolutely your problem now. You got to fix this because people need good doctors that they can trust again. And you got to step your ass up and be that. People need that. Okay. A lot of things can be handled on Zoom calls and in group meetings like we do in our private community. But
and
sometimes,
listen, to be fair, more and more providers are doing this.
yeah,
They're changing the system. They're making a new system.
Yep.
And I mean, at some point, there's probably going to be a fight back because more and more doctors are going to start to do this, and insurance isn't going to let that, and the healthcare system isn't going to let that because then patients are not sick and in the ICU and in surgery, and that's what makes the money.
That's right.
It's not the ER. It's not labor and delivery. Okay, it's the chronic illness section of the hospital.
And my number one mission in our private community is to keep you out of the hospital, definitely to keep you out of the ICU or the CCU or the MICU. My job is to keep you healthy at home, running around, playing like a teenager. That's our goal for our private community.
Right, absolutely. One more question.
Let's see. Did we get? See if we got a new. Yeah, we got one. Okay. Here is Cash Moto. Carnivore for 3 weeks. Feeling great. Brain fog gone. Lost 9 pounds. All good except constipation. Is this expected or can I fix it? So here's the thing. When you're eating a carnivore diet, you're eating pure nutrition. So many people think, well, I haven't pooped all day. I must be constipated. No, that's not what the word constipation means. When you're eating lots of fiber and lots of junk, you got lots of stuff to poop out. But when you're eating a carnivore diet, there's not much to poop out. Many carnivores poop once every other day, once every third day, completely normal, completely fine, nothing to worry about. So if that's your only symptom is, I'm not pooping every day, you're not constipated. Now, if you're truly constipated, then you're going to take a magnesium supplement, magnesium citrate being best, and you're going to increase your fat intake on your carnivore diet. And for the very few people who actually have constipation on carnivore, that's going to fix it. But keep in mind, if you're on carnivore, you're eating pure nutrition. You absorb all of it. The only thing you poop out is dead epithelial cells and maybe some other bacterial cells that died. That's literally it. you're not going to have these huge, gigantic poops 3 times a day on carnivore because you absorb everything you eat. Make sense?
Okay, guys, our children are about to pull in the driveway. Beckett went to jiu-jitsu tonight.
Oh, I
This
can't
is
wait
his
to hear.
second time going. He loves it. He loves Power Rangers, so this is right up his alley. So I guess we're gonna buy a gi and sign up for
I love it.
jiu-jitsu.
I love it. So if you didn't get enough tonight, I'm going to be doing this again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central inside the private community. So there's a link in the show notes. You can sign up right now. And then tomorrow, instead of 6,000 people asking questions, there'll be 100 or 200 asking questions. I can answer your question more thoroughly, more deeply, more completely.
You also get access to live Q&As from our PhD coaches and our PhD pro coaches. And Chris Cooking Nashville's hanging out in there too. He cooks for us sometimes and does demos. We're going to get him doing it a little bit more probably in the future. And we just have a good time. It's a very supportive community. And if you see somebody being a turd, tell Coach Alyssa, because we don't allow that. We'll give them a refund and boot them out. We want a healthy, happy community. We're not here to just bring a bunch of people in for the sake of doing it. We want it to be a very welcoming place for you guys to grow, heal, and then when you don't need us anymore, move on and send somebody else our way.
That's exactly it. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. It's not too late to share this because we answered a bunch of great questions. Share this with the world on your favorite social media and hit the thumb on your way out. This is Dr. Barry and Nurse Neisha saying